The day I was kicked out, it was raining. Not the gentle spring rain that nurtures flowers, but the kind that stings your skin and soaks through your clothes in seconds. I stood there, my hastily packed duffel bag getting heavier by the minute as water seeped into the fabric. "You're a disappointment, Oliver." My father's words cut through the sound of raindrops hitting the pavement. "A complete failure." My mother stood behind him in the doorway, arms crossed, her face a mask of disapproval. The same face she'd worn when I told them I wanted to study computer engineering instead of taking over their precious Mason Industries. "All these years of grooming you for the company," she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "And you throw it away for what? Some foolish dream of creating apps." I was 18, fresh out of high school, and my crime was refusing to attend the business school they'd chosen. I had different plans, different dreams. I wanted to build something of my own, not inherit their legacy. "If you walk away now," my father's voice turned cold, "don't ever come back. You'll get nothing from us. No support, no inheritance, nothing." I adjusted the strap of my bag and met his gaze. "Fine." That one word seemed to shock them both. They had expected me to break, to give in like I always had before. But something had changed in me. Maybe it was the years of being compared to my perfect older brother James, or maybe it was just time to stop being the person they wanted me to be and start being myself. I turned and walked away, each step taking me further from the luxury mansion I'd grown up in. Their final words followed me down the driveway. "You'll fail, Oliver. You'll come crawling back when you realize how worthless your dreams are." But I didn't look back, not even once. The first few months were exactly as hard as they'd probably hoped. I crashed on my best friend Mike's couch, worked 2 jobs, one at a local electronics store during the day and delivering pizzas at night. Every spare moment was spent learning, coding, developing my skills. Mike's tiny apartment became my sanctuary. While my family attended galas and business functions, I sat cross-legged on a worn-out couch, surrounded by programming books and energy drink cans, my laptop balanced precariously on my knees. "You're insane, man," Mike would say, watching me code until sunrise. But the good kind of insane. He didn't understand the technical aspects of what I was building, but he understood drive. He understood the need to prove yourself. 6 months in, I had my first breakthrough. A small app I developed caught the attention of a local tech startup. They didn't offer me millions, but they offered something more valuable, a chance. A junior developer position with flexible hours so I could continue working on my own projects. I took it without hesitation. My family's company, Mason Industries, was all about traditional manufacturing, tools, machinery, the kind of business that had made my grandfather rich in the 1960s. They couldn't understand why anyone would want to work with invisible products like software and apps. But I saw the future. While they were stuck in their old ways, I was learning about artificial intelligence, blockchain, and the endless possibilities of the digital age. 1 year turned into 2, then 3. I moved from the junior developer position to lead developer at another company. My first major app, a revolutionary project management tool, started gaining traction. I wasn't rich yet, but I was making enough to rent my own small apartment and fully focus on my work. During those years, I heard snippets about my family through mutual acquaintances. James had taken my place as the heir apparent to Mason Industries. My parents hosted charity galas and business dinners, maintaining their image as pillars of the business community. They had effectively erased me from their narrative. That was fine by me. I was building my own story. The turning point came 4 years after that rainy night. My project management app had evolved into something bigger, an entire suite of business tools powered by artificial intelligence. I called it Novatech Solutions. When the venture capital offers started coming in, I was ready. I had learned enough about business to know my worth. The first round of funding valued Novatech at $20 million. 6 months later, that value had tripled. I moved into a penthouse apartment in the city's tech district, but kept living relatively simply. Every dollar I earned went back into developing better products, hiring the best talent, expanding our reach. Mike, who had supported me through those early days, became my head of operations. "Look at us now," he'd say, standing in our sleek office overlooking the city. From delivering pizzas to delivering cutting-edge tech solutions. Mike, who had supported me through those early days, became my head of operations. "Look at us now," he'd say, standing in our sleek office overlooking the city. From delivering pizzas to delivering cutting-edge tech solutions. I smiled at his comments, but never let success go to my head. I remembered too well what it felt like to stand in the rain with nothing but a duffel bag and determination. Then came the day that changed everything. I was in my office, reviewing potential acquisition targets, companies whose technology could enhance Novatech's capabilities. A familiar name caught my eye: Mason Industries. My family's company had been struggling. While I had been embracing the future, they had stubbornly clung to the past. Their stock price had been declining steadily for the past year. They needed a digital transformation to survive, but my father was too proud to admit it. I dug deeper into their financials. The situation was worse than I thought. They needed capital, and they needed it fast. About $5 million would keep them afloat long enough to modernize their operations. As I sat there, staring at the numbers on my screen, my phone rang. The number was one I hadn't seen in 7 years, but I would never forget it. My father's number. I let it ring 3 times, each ring echoing the words he had spoken that rainy night. "You're a disappointment, Oliver. A complete failure. Don't ever come back." On the 4th ring, I picked up. "Hello, Father," I said, keeping my voice neutral. "I've been expecting your call." The silence on the other end lasted so long I thought he might have hung up. Then I heard him clear his throat. "Oliver," he said, his voice lacking its usual authority. "We need to talk." I leaned back in my chair, looking out at the city skyline. "Yes," I replied. "I believe we do." The Mason Industries headquarters hadn't changed in 7 years. The same imposing granite facade, the same golden letters announcing the company name, the same stern-faced security guards at the entrance. But I was different. As I walked through the lobby, memories flooded back. Summer afternoons spent watching my father in board meetings, weekends when he dragged me along to inspect the factory floor, endless lectures about responsibility and legacy. "Mr. Mason?" The receptionist's eyes widened slightly as she recognized my face. "Your father is expecting you in the main conference room." I nodded, adjusting my Italian suit. Not out of nervousness. Those days were long gone, but out of habit. Success had taught me the importance of appearances, though unlike my family, I knew they were just that. Appearances. The elevator ride to the top floor gave me time to review the numbers in my head. Mason Industries was hemorrhaging money. Their quarterly reports showed a 60% decline in profits. Their stock had plummeted from $85 to $12 per share. They needed more than just capital. They needed a complete overhaul. The conference room doors opened to reveal a scene I couldn't have imagined 7 years ago. My father, the mighty Richard Mason, looked older, tired. His perfectly tailored suit couldn't hide the weight he'd lost. My mother sat beside him, her usually impeccable makeup slightly smudged, as if she'd been rubbing her eyes. James, my older brother, stood by the window. He'd gained weight, his face puffy from too many business dinners and too much stress. The golden boy didn't look so golden anymore. Oliver, my father said, standing up. He extended his hand, then seemed to think better of it and pulled it back. Thank you for coming. I took a seat at the opposite end of the table, placing my briefcase carefully in front of me. Let's skip the pleasantries, I said. I've seen your numbers. James turned from the window, his face flushing. You've been spying on us? Publicly available information, brother. Your company's decline isn't exactly a secret. My mother flinched at the word your. Not our. Not anymore. We've had some setbacks, my father began, his voice taking on the smooth tone he used for difficult business negotiations. The market has been unpredictable, and our traditional customer base. Your traditional customer base is shrinking because you've refused to adapt. I cut in. The world is digital now. Manufacturing isn't just about machinery anymore. It's about smart factories, IoT integration, predictive maintenance using AI. James scoffed. And I suppose you're the expert now, with your little computer programs. I pulled out my phone, opened a specific app, and projected Novatech's latest quarterly report onto the conference room screen. The numbers spoke for themselves. $500 million in revenue, 300% year-over-year growth, contracts with Fortune 500 companies. The room fell silent. You're the founder of Novatech, my mother whispered. CEO and majority shareholder, I confirmed. Those little computer programs have built a company worth more than Mason Industries was even in its prime. My father's face had gone pale. He remembered, I was sure, every dismissive word he'd ever said about technology, every time he'd called my dreams worthless. We need $5 million, he said finally, his voice hoarse. A bridge loan to implement necessary modernization changes. We can offer favorable terms. I'm not interested in a loan, I interrupted, opening my briefcase. I'm interested in acquisition. The word hung in the air like a thundercloud. James pushed away from the window, his face contorted with anger. Acquisition? You want to buy us out? Your own family? Family? I let out a quiet laugh. Wasn't it you, James, who told everyone at your engagement party that you were an only child? That you'd never had a brother? He took a step back, caught off guard that I knew about that. Oliver, my mother began, her voice taking on the pleading tone she used to use when trying to make me study business textbooks instead of programming. Surely we can work something out. We're still your parents. No, I said firmly. You lost the right to call yourselves that 7 years ago. This is purely business. I pulled out a thick contract from my briefcase and placed it on the table. Novatech will acquire Mason Industries for $25 million. That's more than generous,